Have you ever struggled to find the buyer the perfect house? They've been looking forever and ever and they just can't find it. Today we are going to learn one quick tip and one bonus tip on how to help the buyer through the process. Hey, what's up? My name is Michael Montgomery with Rev Real Estate School. Today we are talking about helping buyers along the process. And the reason why we say helping buyers along the process is because we've been with buyers where potentially they're not finding the right home for themselves, and it's not about just putting them in a home and getting the deal done. That's not what we're about. I'm guessing that's not what you're about. Instead, it's about how can we help them move through the process and move them in a direction that they want to go. So in this video, you're going to get two tips, one main tip and then one bonus tip towards the end. If you'd like to see our full buyer's guide with all of this information, you can download it in the description below. So let's jump into this. What is the most number of homes that you have shown to a client? For me, it was 96. This was early on in my career. I couldn't quite help them through the process. They were starting at condos and then they went to detached homes and then townhomes. And it took about a year of showing properties almost every single weekend in order to find them the place. So 96 homes. I wish I would have known this strategy when I was working with them. The way that this strategy works is quite simple. It's taking into consideration the buyers typically want the right price, the right location, and the right type of house. So the type of house being the upgrades, the condition, the size, these sort of things. So those three things. Let's talk about price. It doesn't really matter what the price point is. If you've worked with buyers, you'll probably know that if it's $100,000 or $3.5 million, they still want something that's just outside of that range. That's just human nature. But we need to understand that price plays a big part in this. Number two is location. And location, sometimes it can change. Sometimes they have to stay within a school zone or they really want to be close to work. Sometimes it's just, I want to be in this neighborhood. The third piece is the house. So sometimes you need something that is exactly right. You need your 4 bedrooms because of the kids that you have. Other times you can be a little bit flexible with the home. Maybe the size isn't as important, or maybe we can do some upgrades so the condition isn't as important. So those three things. I let buyers know that those are the three things that most buyers are looking for. They want the right price, the right location, and then they also want the right home. And then I let them know you can choose 2. And you can just watch their eyes get wider as they start to understand this concept. And it all comes down to the fact that there's not the perfect home out there. The perfect home at the exact right location, the exact right features, and well within budget, it can happen, but it's rare. And I want the buyer to have the freedom to choose a home that isn't perfect. Because if they're searching for the perfect home, you could end up like me and end up showing them 96 homes, and it just becomes a frustrating process for them because they start to worry that they're not going to be able to find what they'd like out there. So I try to bring this up at the time of a buyer consultation, and then if we're struggling throughout the process, I bring it back up and just quickly remind them. Most buyers will totally be able to wrap their heads around this concept. And it's that if you want something, you may have to give something else. It's the whole wants versus needs, but it's just reframed in a different way that makes it very easy for a buyer to understand. Next, let's talk about the bonus tip. This one, again, it is great if you go over it at the buyer consultation. If not, that's totally fine. You can still weave it in as you're starting to work with the buyer. When I'm done showing them a home, I always ask the buyer to rate the home out of 10. And so I want them to, on a scale of 1 to 10, rate this home and then give me at least a number, something that I can go off of here. But what I want to prompt them with before actually outright asking them the first time is I want to let them know that most buyers will select an 8. Coming back to the fact that there's not the perfect home out there, you're again giving them freedom and you're prompting them with the concept that you might not find the perfect home that's out there. It might not check off all of your boxes, and that's why an 8 is what most buyers will end up working with. So I've let them know that it's okay. Most buyers out there will select an 8. So I've given them the freedom to do that. Then as we're going through the homes, I'm asking them to rate it out of 10. If they don't like it, what number are they usually going to say? They're probably going to say a number like a 6 or a 7. So my follow-up question to that is what would make it an 8? And then the concept here is I'm bringing them into the thinking process that they can potentially make certain changes. So if it's paint and flooring, maybe that's a change that they can make. Maybe not though, it depends on where they are at. But all this is doing is giving them a freedom to choose a home that is not a 10 out of 10 and letting them know that most buyers are gonna select that 8. And then if it is a 6 or a 7, so if it's just below that 8, what can be done? Is it possible to bring that up to an 8? Sometimes what will bring it up to an 8 is a lower price, in which case your negotiation skills will really come into play. So those are your 2 quick tips. Again, in the description, you can download the buyer's guide if you'd like to grab that. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Question of the day, what are your favorite buyer tips? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching this. We'll see you on the next video.